First question is from Matt. The DX 784 ML. Did Mike Loong really design this rod? I thought he was a swim bait guy. The jig rod seems long to me. Please explain this rod. That rod was brought by Mike Loong. Wanted a 7'8" jig rod, and he was after me for a year and a half to finally make it. And I was slow because I didn't really think it would sell. So my manufacturer said I could do a low number, so I actually made this jig rod. He wanted just a standard fast action 7'8" jig rod. And I made it, and I told Mike that it wouldn't sell, and I'd make it, and he'd hear a phone call from me about once a week, or a minimum a text message, where I could just tell him how screwed up his idea was. In reality, it's a great selling rod for me. Now I have to put up with Mike, and he reminds me often of, you know, his great ideas. It's a great dragging rod. It's not really made as much for casting up on the bank and working down a bank or working ledges or rock piles like at Clear Lake. But as far as dragging deep, it's 7'8" long. It takes up a tremendous amount of line on a hook set. It's a very efficient jig rod. I think it's the best Carolina rig on the rod on the market. But it's also great. I mean, it's an awesome flutter spoon rod. When I go down to Texas, I mean, Mark Pack, that's his favorite rod in the entire lineup is a 784. So I usually grab one of those for a flutter spoon. It's a very universal rod, but it was made for a dragging jig rod, courtesy of Mr. Mike Loong. This question is from Kevin. In the SAC ISE last year, you talked me out of a 7-foot jig rod into a DX 744C. I love the rod. My jig fishing is better than ever. I not only feel more bites, but I don't seem to miss or lose any. Please explain the longer rod theory and explain it again for my buddies. You just say it better than I do. Basically, I do push the 7'4" jig rods a lot. It's a great rod to still be able to drag a jig deep, but you can actually work them off of rock piles and ledges very, very well. Very sensitive rod, but the length of 7'4", it actually helps make up for some of our mistakes. If we're out of a hook setting position, you got a high rod, and you really need to reel down to get him. With the longer rod, it takes up so much line, you can still get a good hook in that fish. So the longer rods help make up for our mistakes. Better hook sets, I believe they fight fish better. There's just not really a disadvantage to a long rod. I really do push a lot of 7'4" jig rods. Questions is from James. I saw you had 2 Minn Kota talons on your boat. I've been looking at them and the power poles. What's the difference and which one is better? Wow, a little bit tough. I've never run the power poles. I'm a big believer in the Minn Kota talon just because I know some of the development they've went through it. They had a lot of work on their brackets. Their brackets are very, very strong. They seem to be much stronger than some of the other brands. They're electric versus hydraulic. They're very easily to take off your boat. I've actually only had them on, for a couple of weeks, so I can't say I have a whole lot of time with them. But it's pretty awesome to be able to launch your boat, hit your remote, and have both those talons go down and stop my boat right there, and I walk off. It's pretty cool. I think it's going to be a great tool for us in the Delta and Clear Lake. Most of our lakes in the West are so deep that it's not going to help a lot. But they're 8-foot tools. They'll go 8 foot deep. Just another tool and another tool on our boats. It's pretty awesome deal. Again, they're fast, they're quiet, they're easy to take off, they're electric versus hydraulic. Just an awesome product. From Brett, what's the difference between a Z520 and a Z521? There doesn't seem to be much. Why do Rangers cost so much? And do I really need a 250 horse engine? Wow, I might have to go back to my list here. The main difference between a Z520 and a Z521, basically 6 inches in length. Quite a bit of the 21 is actually a little bit narrower towards the bow. The 21, in my opinion, seems to ride a little bit better than the 20. The 20 is about 2 to 3 miles an hour faster. Both great rough water boats. I think the 21 has a slightly better edge. I run a 21 mainly for the layout of the boat. I mean, I like having the 2 ice chests. I fish the desert a lot, so I like having the 2 ice chests. I use the compartment right in front of the console for day storage. It's just, I like the layout of the boat. They're both phenomenal boats. They cost the same. It's, Z520, Z21. Both come with 250 horse rated motors, and the price is the same. Why do Rangers cost so much? Well, that's a tough one. I got to be careful here. price of bass boats is expensive. I mean, whatever brand. I mean, Rangers, Tritons, you know, Champions. It doesn't matter. I mean, all the boat brands are just expensive. And what makes them expensive is, you know, all the accessories. I mean, you know, you've got an $18 to $20,000 outboard hanging off the back of them. I mean, meters. It's easy to stick, you know, $7,000, $8,000, $9,000 in, you know, in meters nowadays. You know, a trolling motor's $1,300, $1,400, $1,500. You know, the price of the boats have went up, but a lot of the prices of the accessories have went up too. So it's just increased the overall price of the package. And, you know, Ranger's always, you know, the front runner. Everyone always, you know, looks at the price of Rangers. But in all honesty, all the bigger boats are fairly close to the same. You know, just check out and see which one fits you. And I really don't know what else to say. That's a tough question. This one's from Bo. Question I got to dance on a little bit. I've heard you're talking about a new tournament circuit. Why? What will be better about yours, and what's the entry fee? Well, you know, I have been talking about a new tournament circuit. I will say that we do have meetings going on, and we're trying to put a business plan together to see if we can make it work. We don't have anything really figured out. We don't have any set entry fee yet. I just tell you that I want to do, you know, I want to do something bigger and better than what we already have. It's not me. I'm just the guy that kind of started it. But, I mean, we've got a bunch of straight-up businessmen on this deal that love to fish. They are tournament fishermen. I don't want to name names because, I mean, if this thing doesn't happen, I'm going to be the only one looking like the village idiot. But we're trying very hard. And what's our goal? Our goal is to pay back to fishermen. Our goal is to try to recruit sponsors and sponsorship in the industry and out. And I want to see 150% payback. I want to see a 200% payback. I want to see our anglers not have to go to the East Coast to fish. You know, I mean, we're neglected on the West Coast. FLW throws 4 events out here, and that's it. Never a championship. They won't take care of the West. Bass is doing nothing for us, so we have to do something for ourselves. I mean, that's my whole game plan. Will we get it done? I honestly can say I do not know. I will say we're trying, and we're trying hard. And we've kind of all agreed not to talk a whole lot about this tournament circuit, so when all my buddies see this, I'm probably in for a ripping, but I answered it the best I could. Now, I really look forward to answering your questions, so keep them coming, and we might even be offering a prize here for some of the best questions of the year. Thanks again.